Harry made a blink-and-you'll-miss-it appearance at the coronation. I think it's right that he was there. But do you think he should have stuck around for beer and sandwiches afterwards, and should he have been on that balcony?
Oh. Well, I feel a bit queasy about him being here in the first place, because the royal family are so forgiving, aren't they? I mean, you know, he's so laid into, you know, established members of the royal family. Camilla in particular. Camilla was made queen today, and this is a woman that Harry really slagged off in his book, you know, and accused her of leaking stories to the press, which we know is completely untrue, and of, you know, trying to leave victims and bodies all over the place, and Harry was the victim. So I felt a bit queasy about him being there. So you have to give it to the king, that the king could overlook the, you know, the really nasty sort of behaviour that Harry's been into for the last 18 months, 2 years. Definitely didn't want him on the balcony. And as far as I'm concerned, in and out as quickly as you can was about as much as I could tolerate of him.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, you're going to ask me now.
Where do we start?
Where should I start? Well, I will start by saying I'm a divorced man with 2 boys, and the king is a divorced man with 2 boys. He wanted his boys to be there, both of them. He loves them both. I wanted my boys to be with me when I recently married, and they were there. So it completed the king's day. I did not want Harry and Meghan to come to the coronation to be a sideshow, to take away the light from the day, which was the king's day. I knew he was going to come in and go as quickly as possible. I knew that was his style. He wanted to keep the door open because he has to be relevant in the United States of America. He is royal, he's the king's son, and let's face it, he'll have a story to tell when he gets home.
However, is it not a shocker that he's not on that balcony and therefore not part of history?
He's not a working member of the royal family.
He quit his job.
Chose that path.
He's the king's son.
He chose that path. He chose to
But do you not think blood is thicker than water? That come what may, my father is the king, I'm on that balcony.
There are rules. He abandoned the country, he abandoned his people, he abandoned his duty. Diana wanted him to be William's wingman, to be with him on his path to being monarch, and to be there for him when he got there.
And do we think, and this is to Paul and Kinsey, one of these days he might wake up in California and think, what have I done? Why am I here? So the occasional trip back to the United Kingdom might just be a safety passport to an eventual return.
He might have been reminded of that today as he walked so lonely down the aisle of Westminster Abbey by himself.
On his own.
Grimacing at times.
Vulnerable looking, not part of the royal party. Surely, he thought to himself, have I abandoned all of this? My heritage? My lifestyle? What was due to me? Why am I not sitting with my brother? And looking outside at all the armed forces, which he's so proud of and proud to be associated with, did he not think for 1 minute, oh, I wish I still had my uniform. I wish I was still part of this. And one day he might just wake up from this spell which has been cast on him.
How has that spell been cast on him?
Well, I think he's been mesmerised.
Do you care to name names?
He's been mesmerised by Meghan, and he's been sort of sucked into a celebrity world without even knowing it. He met a 36-year-old woman in London who whispered in his ear, I want to change the world. He didn't hear Meghan's voice. He heard his mother's voice.
Ooh. There's the soundbite right there.
He's under Meghan's spell. When is that spell broken? Will it be broken, Kinsey?
Well, that's a pretty tough question, but I did want to say, in regards to the balcony, Paul and I were just looking at the internet, and Dior sent a tweet saying that they actually provided the custom suit that Harry wore to the coronation. So Harry was literally, he just showed up to merch. You know, I think that there have been rumors over the last few months that Harry was going to become a spokesperson for Dior.
You're telling me that his tailors, the tailors of his suit, advertised the fact that he was wearing a Dior suit today.
Made just for him, just for the coronation.
Not Tumble and Asser, not New and Lingwood, not Hawes and Curtis. Not German Street
Savile Row,
Not Marks and Spencer's.
Certainly not.
John Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm currently wearing the Kin range. I think you'll agree it doesn't fit me.
But so it's, you know, I'm glad he wasn't on the balcony because it seems like he just popped in and showed up because he needed a hashtag sponsored moment. He needed to justify a check he has potentially already cashed from Dior.
Yeah. And what about this idea that one day, and of course it comes with authority in terms of Paul knows Harry well, that Harry wakes up one day and thinks, what have I done? That all of this, that the huge price he's paid becomes apparent.
You have a lot of sleepless nights in Los Angeles, California, because you are only as relevant as your last headline, your last photo, paparazzi picture taken, your last project. So he's not going to be comfortable. He's never going to be comfortable in Hollywood because you're always having to look forward. If it's not Dior today, what is it tomorrow? Is it the Duke of Sussex cologne? It is
shocking that he wasn't wearing English tailoring today.
Are you okay? Are you going to be okay?
Well, it is. Don't you think that's an insult to the heritage of this country?
I don't think he cares because he's
American now.
Yeah.
But his family are American. His children are Americans. Think about that. But today I was so saddened to see that lonely figure come down the aisle.
But even though you were
Diana's boy.
But Paul, even though you were saddened, a couple of people have said to me, Harry was on his own, and yes, he did look isolated, but there was a bit of the old Harry in him when he walked into the Abbey. He did have a twinkle in his eye.
Light on his feet.
He was quite affectionate to people around him. He was patting them on the shoulder, and, I'm not trying to get personal here, but on his own, is Harry a different person to when he's part of the couple, the Tim and Meghan?
I couldn't see very much of him anyway, because the Princess Royal's plume
nice little
blocked
feather
him out of most of the camera view.
The feather has become the candle.